Hi, my name's Mark Wilkie. As you probably know, the upcoming IR35 reforms for the private sector are due to hit two key communities. Firstly, limited company contractors or personal services companies who are currently responsible for determining their inside-outside status. And secondly, clients who are now going to be responsible for this determination. So with these two communities being the ones who are impacted, what are they both saying about the reforms and the action they will take to cope with it? Well, the good news is a growing percentage of both communities are now aware of the changes, which is clearly the most important first step. In terms of our limited company contractors, many are well educated about the reforms due to the fact they've previously been responsible for determining their status for a number of years. However, they also know that from April 2020, these determinations will now be made by the end user of their services. With this in mind, what action do they think they will take as a result of these determinations? We carried out a poll of our contractors to ask them the simple question: what actions are you likely to take in relation to the IR35 reforms? We heard back from over 1,200 contractors with a number of very different answers. 15% stated they thought they'd be deemed outside of IR35. 8% said they would look for a permanent position. 10% said they'd work abroad. 12% of our contractors told us they'd retire. A quarter of the respondees said that if they were deemed inside of IR35, they'd seek to achieve a rate increase to cover the tax rise. And finally, the largest group, 27%, told us that if they were deemed inside, they'd find a different assignment that was deemed outside. So this tells us that the vast majority believe they will be impacted. A quarter are expecting rate increases, and nearly 50% are stating they would potentially leave their current assignments. So this means that our clients risk an undeniable level of upheaval to their current projects. So with that in mind, what are our clients saying? Well, whilst many of our clients are taking the issue seriously and getting ahead of the curve by deploying solutions, some are still keeping their heads in the sand. Some of the more worrying sentiments we've heard include: firstly, I can just deal with this in 2020. The problem with this, there's lots of work to do to get ready for the reforms. And as of April the 6th, 2020, your company could be liable for unpaid tax and national insurance contributions, as well as fines and interest on overdue payments. To add to that, it's not just financial risk your company will face, there are operational, legal and reputational risks that need to be managed. Making yourself compliant will take time and effort. There's a lot to do to get yourself ready, so the time to act is now. One of the other things we hear from clients is the assumption that IR35 won't be much of an issue. This is often because they believe their workers are either mostly inside or mostly outside, so the determination process will be simple. This is a dangerous assumption to make. It's important to remember that any incorrect determinations could come back to bite you. And not only that, your current contractors will have the right to appeal decisions you make, causing additional time and workload if you get it wrong. Finally, one of the most popular opinions from clients is that contractors will just have to accept an inside determination and retain less income. Some believe contractors have been getting away with it for years, so they now need to accept the change. So while some contractors will fall into this camp, our data suggests that the majority of limited company contractors are currently operating with the correct determination. Therefore, there's no reason these contractors should be expected to accept changes to their current tax arrangements. Furthermore, the reality of the situation is that many of our clients depend on their contractor community to deliver their critical projects. Making an inside determination and asking contractors to stick around whilst their take-home pay is reduced could jeopardise this resource, especially if your competitors are offering assignments which fall outside of IR35 for a greater take-home pay. So, looking at what both contractors and clients think, it's clear there's a bit of a mismatch. However, as long as you're taking the right steps to act now around IR35, there is still time. The first step is to educate yourself. So get in contact with us or visit our IR35 hub to find out more. Also on the hub, you'll find an impact assessment tool which you can use to understand the effort required to get ready for the reforms. It's a free tool and only takes around 5 minutes to complete. If you're ready to start looking at solutions, Our hub will also tell you how Gattaca can help you begin your journey to IR35 compliance. Thanks for listening.